Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy Speaker. Can I first associate myself with outstanding speeches by my parliamentary colleagues. And we just heard from the member for Canberra, and before her the member for Berowra, the member for Dobell, the member for Robertson, the member for Melbourne Ports, and in anticipation, the member for Fenner. Yesterday's memorial service at Old Parliament House, which I had the privilege to attend, was a celebration of Barry Cohen's big life, his good life. We heard speeches from former Prime Minister Bob Hawke, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, the Leader of the Opposition, the member for Melbourne Ports, his son Stuart, and others. And what came through these speeches was a picture of a man who I was fortunate to have met, who was first and foremost a proud Australian. He was a proud Jew, and he was a proud Labor man. And in his many achievements in public life, 21 years in the Parliament, he was responsible for a number of significant achievements which leave a lasting legacy. As the Environment Minister, I can only look back in awe at what he achieved with regards to Uluru, Kakadu, the Barrier Reef, the Tasmanian wilderness. As the Minister for Arts, Heritage and Environment, we've heard about his significant contributions. Indeed, our presence in Old Parliament House in some way could be traced to his commitment to restoring that building and ensuring that it stayed for future generations. As the member for Robertson, he turned a marginal seat, in fact a Liberal seat, as we heard yesterday, into a safe Labor seat, door-knocking thousands of homes with his wife Ray and band of loyal supporters, and winning the respect for his passionate defence of local interests and the local community. He also was the Minister assisting the Prime Minister for the bicentennial. Barry Cohen came to the Parliament in a non-traditional way, in the sense that he had been a postman, had been a clerk, and had broader business experience. And when he came to the Parliament, as was said yesterday, he was not a union rep or a party hack. He was somebody who came with a determination to make a difference. And reading his maiden speech to the Parliament on the 5th of March 1970, he talks about the motivating factor in deciding to become a political activist was that, and I quote, "I have always been concerned with the question of prejudice, whether that prejudice be based on class, religion or race." And in his maiden speech, he spends the vast majority of the time talking about Aboriginal disadvantage, health, particularly infant mortality, housing, and the need to do better on behalf of our first Australians. And we heard yesterday how genuine and long-lasting his commitment was. My colleague, the member for Berowra, and the member for Melbourne Ports have referred to the fact that he cared deeply about his Jewishness. He was always prepared to wear that on his sleeve, and he would speak openly about anti-Semitism where he encountered it, as well as issues involving Israel. was born and raised in Griffith, New South Wales, and he wrote about his local school that there were 7 Jewish children in a school of nearly 1,000, and that made us a bit of a curiosity. He did say that he got his first taste of anti-Semitism when he was at Sydney Grammar School, and that, quote, shocked, hurt and bewildered him. In the Parliament, he had a fellow traveller in his support for Israel in Bob Hawke. But it is apt and timely in the presence of our fellow members of the Labor Party to remind them of what he, Barry Cohen, said about the concerns he saw with a lurch to the left and a growing antagonism towards Israel. And he said, "I'm sick of Labor leaders and foreign affairs spokesmen making all the right noises to Jewish audiences while an increasing number of Labor backbenchers launch diatribes at Israel." Now that is a very powerful statement, and I only mention it because I know that my fellow Labor members in the chamber care as deeply about Israel and about anti-Semitism as I do, or the member for Berowra does. And I know in the Leader of the Opposition, Israel has a staunch friend and a loyal friend. And in the record of Bob Hawke, who fought for the refuseniks and those in the Soviet Union, they have a very proud record. And in fact, Doc Evatt, again, the Labor Party has a very, very proud record. But we always need to stand firm on these issues. And when we stand on the shoulders of giants like Barry Cohen in this place, it pays to listen to a warning such as that. And if us in this place can take that warning, act upon it, I will feel better for not just the Jewish community of today, but the Jewish community of tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, Barry Cohen was an outstanding individual. He was decent, he was brave, he was humble, he was passionate. His causes stretched from Indigenous affairs to the environment, from arts and culture to acting on behalf of our senior Australians and his own battle with Alzheimer's. He is somebody who shared his views through his columns and his 8 books, and who has provided wisdom and insight for us here today. To his son Adam in the chamber, to his mother Ray, to Stuart, to Martin, to the extended family, I say, you have so much to be proud of in Barry Cohen. I have so much to be proud of as a Jewish member of this Parliament, because we follow in his footsteps. We can learn from his example, and if we do him justice in this place, Australia will be the better for it.